Welcome everybody to the DreamBuilder program that's being facilitated by me, Christine Langley with the Wyoming Women's Business Center. I want to start out by just covering a little bit about WWBC. We are a nonprofit organization. We work with individuals who want to start or expand small businesses within the state of Wyoming. And of course, we have a special emphasis on women. So we do our work through three distinct programs: the business training and counseling, which is exactly what's happening here tonight. The second program is microloans, and we offer microloans anywhere between $500 and $5 million. Sorry, $50,000. Wouldn't that be nice if we did 5 million? Anyway, $500 to $50,000. Our typical microloan is under 10,000. And then finally, we have our artist development program, and that assists artists in developing a business around their art. And we run that in conjunction with our Works of Wyoming store. So thanks everybody for joining us. I'm stalling here as I let people sign in. So it looks like I've got about 4 on the line right now. Welcome, Charles, Michaela, Nadia, and Vicki. Good job for hanging in there. Coming up on week 4 of this program. All right, so the DreamBuilder program is all about writing your business plan. And so this is a 6-week facilitated course, plus a graduation celebration. Embedded in this course, as you all have found, is a business plan tool. And so at the end, you'll be able to hit a button and get your entire business plan printed out with an actual table of contents. So I'll be formatted for you. You can download it in a Word document and then make edits and changes to it, because we know, as we've learned, it's a living, breathing document, something that you're going to update and change as your business grows and changes and your ideas grow and change. So my recommendation is that you dedicate at least 3 to 4 hours per week for this course so that you can make it to the end. And I will tell you that around this time in the course is when people start getting super fatigued. And so if you're feeling that way, I'm sure that you are not alone. All right, so let's get a sense of where everybody is at. Go ahead and log into the chat and let me know what stage you're in for this course. Week 1 was tell us about yourself, start your dream, and exploring your dream. Week 2 was planning your dream and making your dream. Last week, we asked you to do marketing your dream, pricing your dream, and selling your dream, which was a really big ask. And so just let me know the most recent one you finished. Have you finished marketing your dream? Did you finish pricing your dream? Or are you on selling your dream? Or are you back here in week 2? There's no judgment from me. I just really want to get a sense of kind of where you're at and how things are going. I've got one person in marketing. I've got another person in pricing. That's great. All right. So coming up in week 4, we're going to be talking about managing your dream, profiting from your dream, and keeping track of your dream. Another big week of content, making huge strides in your business plan. Okay, and Nadia is in selling. Good job, Nadia. All right. So let's go over some of the information from last week's assignment. And if not everybody on the line is to this yet, that's okay. There's just time to kind of think and discuss it. And this category was marketing your dream. And so what you did in this module, if you completed it, is you identified your target market. And so what I'd like to know from those of you that completed this section, I want to know, or maybe you know this off the top of your head, even if you haven't done this module yet, I want to know who you identified as your target market. And the key here is you can't say anybody from age 18 to 65 that has money to buy my product or service, right? We need to be a little bit more specific than that because it's very difficult to market to anyone and everyone. You want to try and go as niche as you can in the beginning, identifying a target market that you can specifically target your advertising and your marketing efforts to. So again, just type that in the chat for me if you have a sense of who your target market is so that I can get a sense of where you're at. The other thing that happened in that course was we discussed the importance of positioning and branding. And then it asked you to create an elevator speech. Now, an elevator speech is really important. It's going to be anywhere between 30 seconds. Some people, at networking groups will give you up to 1, sometimes even 2 minutes to give an elevator speech. But I usually like to try and keep that elevator speech under 30 seconds. And so that elevator speech needs to incorporate what your ask is for your business. And it should also incorporate something about the target market that you're going after. People always want to know how they can help you. And so your elevator speech needs to include what that help could potentially look like. All right, so we've got one person kind of focusing in on individuals and their families with disabilities and aging. Got another person that's in a public and nonprofit organizations who are in public-private partnerships. All right, very nice. Anytime you can narrow down your target market into an identifiable list of people, businesses, or organizations, that can be really, really helpful when it comes to marketing. So Vicki just mentioned that she's specifically seeking public and nonprofit groups that are in public-private partnerships. So this is an identifiable market that she can go through and identify the specific groups that she's looking to contact. And it's always easier to market when you can create that prospect list in the beginning. All right, so I'm going to have a little assignment for you at the end of tonight, and it's going to involve your elevator speech. So I'm hoping that most of you put that together, or that's something that you can put together quickly this evening or in the next day or two. And then last but not least, we explored ways to share a story through advertising as well as digital marketing. And so hopefully you learned a little bit about the different advertising opportunities there are out there, as well as digital marketing. I know that as a small business owner myself, digital marketing and just advertising in general can feel really overwhelming because there's so many avenues, so many different platforms, and all of them typically cost more money than what a small business or a micro enterprise wants to spend. And so this takes us all the way back around to what that target market is and how important it is to narrow in on that target market so the advertising dollars that you do spend are going specifically to the market that you're trying to capture. All right. The next module that we covered was pricing your dream. And so first you learned how to set prices for a product or service. And then it asked you to really think about the value that customers get from a product or a service and the price that they're willing to pay. So if you remember from last week, we talked about there being a difference between maybe what the product costs you or what you think it will sell for versus the value that customers get from the product and what they're willing to pay. So you're trying to find that sweet spot, right? You want to charge the maximum amount that you can in order to be as profitable as possible in your small business. Customers have to feel value in the product or the service that they're buying from you, but you have to be competitive in your marketplace. And so hopefully a lot of the work that you did previously with your competitive analysis, understanding, other people that are in your same space in the market, you already had kind of a sense of what your pricing was going to be. Hopefully that got refined during this module. While you learned how to calculate costs and then ultimately decided on pricing that works best for your business. So throw in the chat with me. I just want a quick yes or no. Yes, I've priced my service or my product for my business, or no, not quite yet. I'm still working on it. So just type in the chat for me, yes or no. So I have a sense of kind of where everybody's at in regards to pricing. I can tell you that most of the entrepreneurs that I work with struggle with pricing their product or their service high enough, right? This has something sometimes to do with self-worth, being a little nervous to ask for the sale, being scared, to set a price out there, which you maybe personally in your mind, thinks is high. You bring a lot of your own fears to the table when it comes to pricing a product or a service that you're offering, especially service businesses, by the way. Those are sometimes the hardest to price because if you're personally providing the service, it's really easy to devalue yourself. So I want to encourage all the ladies to maintain your value and push that pricing. I usually recommend that right out the gate, consider increasing your prices by at least 20%, because I find that most of my clients devalue themselves by at least that much, if not half. So it looks like I've got one person that's still kind of deciding on pricing, and then 2 other people that have firmed up their pricing for their business. So good job on that. And of course, if you have any individual questions, you can throw them in that Q&A panel, and we'll get to that at the end. All right, selling your dream. So you learned about selling if you've completed this module, and I'm not sure too many people on this call did. But if you're about to go into the selling your dream, you learned about selling and how it contributes to the overall success as an entrepreneur. And what I want to tell you is that not only is every person in your business a salesperson, but as an entrepreneur, you are the best salesperson in your business. You know your business better than anyone. You understand your market better than anyone. You are always going to be your best salesperson, regardless of your delivery, regardless of your nerves, regardless of whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. You're still always going to be the best salesperson in your business. So I encourage you to embrace selling, because anyone that has a business is officially a professional salesperson. In this module, you're going to learn about why people buy. And I think that's really important to understand, because you're selling to other people's needs. You're not selling to your own needs of them to purchase something from you, right? You're selling to their needs. And so it's important that you focus on that. You'll explore the importance of looking beyond a single sale and the benefits of excellent customer service. So the name of the game in most micro enterprises is continuing revenue. And that means continuing sales, hopefully from existing customers. So I have a carpet cleaning business right now. Once we secure an initial client, our goal is to retain that client for years, right? We don't want them going anywhere else for any kind of professional floor care other than to our business. And so there's a variety of things that we do in order to provide excellent customer service. You want to think through your entire sales cycle and your entire sales process to make sure that you're closing that back door on any customers that come into your funnel, so that you don't lose them after securing them in the first place. It often takes a good amount of investment in order to secure a customer. So the last thing you want to do is lose them because of poor customer service. So in this module, you'll learn about that. I already touched on understanding that every person is a salesperson. Any person that you hire in your business, all of your family members, anybody in your community that knows you, that is supporting you in your venture, all of those people are salespeople for your business. So you want to make sure that they have materials that they can distribute for you. They know how to share things online for you, that you get that sales force out there working for you. And then last but not least, you learned how to make projections, or you're going to. And so here's what I want to get across about projections. Projections are a best guess, right? It's your best guess on how you're going to do revenue-wise, how you're going to do sales-wise. No one has a crystal ball, and none of us can be sure what direction we're going to go. As far as projections go, a lot of times it comes down to people's personality types, whether they project high or low. And so this takes some practice. Some people sandbag, which means you project much, much lower than what you can ultimately do. And other people over expect or over project, and they actually think they're going to sell a whole bunch more than they actually end up doing. So rarely do I find clients right on the money and in the middle. So one of the ways that you can verify your projections is to show them to other people and ask what they think. If there's other business owners in your community, again, probably not your direct competitors, but other business owners that have experience with sales projections, it might be something you can run past them. If you have an accountant or a CPA that you work with or that you know, might be a good idea to throw those projections towards them. Or let's say you were involved in a course at the Women's Business Center called DreamBuilder, and you had a professional business coach that you had access to at no charge that was an expert at putting together sales projections. Like me, you could send your projections to me and I could take a look at those and we could go back and forth on what we think is the most realistic for your market in your area. So it's why you're in a facilitated course like this, so that I can help with some of the aspects as you build your business plan. So I hope that you will take advantage of that. All right. So moving on to next week's assignment. In the navigation tools, if you are through number 7, which was right here, now we're on to number 8, which is managing your dream. From there, we'll go to profiting from your dream, because of course, the goal here is to make a profit. We are not developing charity businesses here where everybody else gets to make money, but you don't. We're hopefully planning for a for-profit business that is going to be able to not only make money for you personally, but it's going to be a profitable business that maybe someday becomes saleable and is an asset for your overall net worth. That would be the ultimate goal of owning a small business. And then we'll also cover keeping track of your dream. So these 3 tracks are going to be the assignment for this upcoming week. So let's dig a little bit deeper into each one of those and talk about each one of those areas and what we're going to cover. All right, course 8 is managing your dream. So in this course, you're going to learn how to manage the different areas of business in order to keep on top of things and hopefully make a profit, right? That's the point. So this includes hiring, training, and managing employees. And whenever I counsel clients, I always tell them, your job is never done if you plan on having employees, because this is a constant loop. You recruit, you hire, you train, and then one of 2 things happens. You either retain that employee or you have to let that employee go, which would mean firing. So this is a loop method that is a continuous process and cycle. Recruit, hire, train, retain, or fire. Recruit, hire, train, retain, or fire. And so you're going to learn about the management loop in the upcoming course. And you're also going to explore how to manage family members as well as good and bad employees. And as a person that has had 3 family businesses, I know a lot about managing family members and other family members attempting to manage me, which is never a treat. So if you plan on being in business with family members, this is going to be a really important course to cover for you, because it'll bring up those important questions that need to get answered and the specific things that you should have in place if you are going to employ family members. It's going to ask you to consider how to manage your time, your money, and your information. And so all of this is going to come together in your business plan, because you'll be entering all of this information in as you go. And so a lot of work on the business plan in your week 4 assignment. As you transition into course 9, we're going to talk about profiting from your dream. So again, the point of having a for-profit business is to make money for yourself, your family, and to build your own personal net worth. That's why we own a business. And so you're going to learn about the concepts of profit, loss, and break even, right? If you don't keep track and know whether you're making money or losing money or just barely breaking even, then you can't gauge what your success level is. So I liken your profit and loss statement, which is also known as your income statement, I liken that to your scorecard, right? If you don't keep score, you don't know if you're winning or not. And so tracking all of your money lets you know if you're winning. You're going to go through and discuss what to do if a business isn't profitable, right? They're also going to cover what you do when it is profitable. Sometimes businesses don't work out. Actually, about 50% of the time within the first 2 years, the businesses don't work out. We're trying to change that statistic. We all are in economic development, but especially at the Wyoming Women's Business Center, because we know that if you don't make it profitability wise within the first 2 years, the likelihood is you're not going to continue. So not all businesses go bankrupt, right? Most businesses actually just fizzle out because the ownership is just fatigued from doing the business and not generating enough income, right? The juice just no longer is worth the squeeze. And that's what happens in most businesses. It's not this really dramatic exit like you see in the movies, of cars being repossessed and signs being torn down and people's things being, thrown out at the curb. That's not usually how we see businesses end. We usually just see them kind of slowly migrate out of the market. And that's because they just get fatigued and tired. So it's important that you understand the concepts of profit and loss so that you can make good decisions along the way as to whether or not the business is continuing to be viable or not, and you can make good decisions. So you're going to review the components of a profit and loss statement, and then you're going to consider some reasons why a business may not make a profit, and then how to pivot and correct this. So there's plenty of opportunities in a business life cycle to make changes and to correct things if you seem to be going off course. And businesses change. So I know that I've talked about this example in the past. I had an ice cream company from 2010 until 2017. And during that time period, the business dramatically shifted and changed. We had a food truck that primarily operated in the Denver metro area. And then in the wintertime, we pulled the equipment out of that food truck and moved it into arenas where we sold ice cream at primarily basketball games, right? We were in the Pepsi Center, we were at CU Boulder, and we were also at the AA in Laramie at UW. And so the winter business dramatically changed because the seasonality and the wins and losses of teams actually changed the number of participants or people that came to those games, and that changed our numbers dramatically. So from one year to the next, what we realized was how well that team is performing directly impacts our ice cream sales. And so the team doing well meant a higher attendance, more people means more people are buying. That seems fairly obvious. The other thing that really changed in that business was people's comfort level with food trucks and their understanding of that industry. So when we got into that business, we were trying to explain to people what a food truck was. And that made it really hard to sell catering business. And so the first 3 years that we were in business, 70% of our sales, almost 75% of our sales came from major events, right? We would go to jazz concerts in the park. We would go to Hudson Gardens down in Littleton because they had a concert series. We would do, special food truck events that happened at Civic Center Park. And the majority of our revenue was coming from those types of, I'd say, community events. But as we transitioned and as food trucks became more and more popular in the Denver metro area, we started to see more and more bookings for catering. And by the end of our business, 75% of our revenue was coming from catering, pre-scheduled, targeted events that we knew exactly how much product we needed to bring, to that particular event, and the food was paid for ahead of time. It made us dramatically more profitable than the other model that we started with. And so our business actually shifted, not only because of market demand, but also because we started recognizing where we were the most profitable in our business, and we drove all of our marketing and advertising towards that profit center. So this is what I want you to think about when you're looking at your business. What are some of the reasons why you may not be profitable, and how could you correct this, right, going forward? So just having a sense or an idea of possible pivot points can help you so that if you find yourself in that scenario, it's not the first time you've thought about it. And there might be some corrections, some course corrections that you can do. All right, next up is course number 10, which is keeping track of your dream. So you want to identify why it's important to have a system for tracking the money that flows in and out of your business. Hopefully I've already driven this home with what I've been talking about. But if you don't count, you don't know if you're winning or not. And in business, it's really important to know if you're winning or not. It's actually really important to know if you're winning in your personal life too, by tracking your own money personally. And I want you to know that whatever habits you have with your finances in your personal life, you're going to bring those habits right on into your business life. So if you're not very good at tracking your money in your personal life, there's no reason to believe that you're just naturally going to be proficient at tracking your business money. So take a note, be aware, recognize where your strengths and your weaknesses are. If this is a strength for you, then you'll be all over this. You probably already understand some basics about bookkeeping. You may already be familiar with some accounting terms and processes, and that's great. If you're not that person, this is the time when you need to raise your hand and go, all right, either I'm going to learn this or I'm not going to learn this. I have no interest in this. And this is when I'm going to need some outside help. So through this course 10, I want you to think about that. It's going to teach you about statements and reports that can help you track that financial health of your business. And it'll help you identify other accounting resources as well. And I've got a little comment here, LOL, that's why I want to teach personal finance as a business. Amen, right? Amen. I cannot tell you the number of clients I have that struggle both in their business and in their personal finances. But you're talking to a total finance geek right now. Not only do, of course, I track everything using QuickBooks in my businesses, but I also use a personal budgeting tool called YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. And not that I'm doing a promo here for QuickBooks or YNAB, but these are tools that I use in both my business as well as my personal life to track every single dollar. I know where every dollar in my life goes. I know how to budget prior to the expense so that no expenses are a surprise. And I encourage people to do that not only in their personal life, but also in their business life. So again, if this isn't you, recognize it, own it, either decide to get help for it or plan within your business plan that you're going to have a bookkeeper that can assist you in this way and review these reports with you so that you know if you're winning. Really, really important. All right, guys, hit me with any questions that you've got from last week's content or questions that you have about your business. I definitely want to hear if you're stuck. Want to try and catapult you into this next section as quickly as possible so that everybody stays on track with me. I'd love to have, you know, at least 8 or 10 people graduating at the end of this course so that we know that you have a solid business plan or something that you can start a healthy business from. This is my contact information on the lower left-hand side of the screen. Jonathan Howdyshell is also a business counselor with the Wyoming Women's Business Center. You have access to both of us as part of this program. And so encourage you to reach out to us if you need assistance. Everybody should be well aware of our funding partners at this point, but I would be remiss if I did not mention that the Small Business Administration is our primary funding source, and we have a matching grant from the Wyoming Business Council. Also a couple of other granting agencies like the Daniels Fund and the Wyoming Arts Council. And so we're appreciative of everyone's contributions to the Women's Business Center so that we can share free content like this with you. Okay, so homework assignment in addition to the coursework that you've been assigned for the week. What I would love to see from all of you tonight is an email. I would like you to email me your elevator pitch. And with that, I'd like you to schedule a coaching session with me. So I would like to start one-on-one sessions here in the next 7 to 10 days so that I can get kind of a closer look at your individual business and where you're at in the process of developing your business plan. And if you are stuck on any particular section or you have some key questions that you want to ask, I want to give you an opportunity to do that in a one-on-one session instead of a group setting like what we have going on now. So put in that chat, yes, I'm planning to email you tonight. That's a good question. It says, what are your usual office hours, evenings available? And the answer is, I have very poor shut-off skills. And so I have a tendency to work around my client's schedule because I have that freedom and flexibility within my life. So I'm not going to set specific office hours because I only have a select number of clients that I'm working with through this DreamBuilder program. And instead, I'd like to know what works for you. So if evenings are better, I can incorporate that. If you just want to email me and say this date and this time, if for some reason that is taken, then we'll kind of go back and forth, but I'll do my best to accommodate you instead of the other way around, since I know that most of you probably have day jobs and are potentially working on this on the side. All right, appreciate it. So again, email me your elevator pitch. That was something that you should have created in a course that you took this last week, and then also schedule a one-on-one coaching session. If for some reason you don't have your elevator pitch together yet, or you haven't gotten through that course, I still want you to schedule a coaching session with me, okay? So that hopefully I can help catapult you into the next section of DreamBuilder, and we can stay on track to get you finished and graduated by the end of our 6 or 7 weeks together. All right, guys, I'm gonna just check my questions panel really quick and make sure I don't have anything open. It's looking good. Anything else in the chat? All right, thanks everybody for attending tonight. I'm letting you go a little early again. I've been trying to kind of gauge this and keep them at 30 minutes. So it gives you additional time to work on the coursework and work on your business plan. If you already allocated an hour on Tuesday nights, I would encourage you to keep going and take advantage of the next 30 minutes. And then hopefully, again, you can carve out that 3 or 4 hours this week. So I look forward to getting some emails, and we shall be in touch. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.